1991, Bellevue, Washington. Every year, women spend billions of dollars on lotions, potions, powders, and goo in a futile attempt to cover up the wrinkled and drying skin that marks the hours they've spent tanning their hides, hormone imbalances caused by partying, the chemical damage caused by vice, and the stretching, sagging, and drooping caused by binging and dieting. Well, these days, not so much dieting. Why do they do this? Is makeup something men do to women? Many, like faux libertarian Naomi Wolf, think so, and blame it all on men. But this is less than half the story. The rest of the story is that makeup is a form of competition. It's one of the means women use to gain advantage over other women. Ms. Brand X, looking for a competitive advantage over Ms. Regular Brand, added spice to her packaging and found out, as any marketing department can tell you, that it's the sizzle that sells the steak. Ms. Regular Brand soon followed, adding more sizzle of her own, and feminine wiles were born. Merchants, ever vigilant for the opportunity to make a buck, paneled their shops with mirrors and began making a tidy profit selling scented lard in pretty jars with fancy labels. Of course, feminists blame this all on men. Blaming all of this on men is a lot like blaming patrons of a McDonald's for forcing the restaurant chain to sell hamburgers. The fact is, both the burger buyers and the burger friers conspire together to get what they want from the other by providing what the other wants from them, just as women and men do. Quote, since women seek mates with resources, men can be expected to exaggerate their wealth by driving expensive cars, buying gifts for women, or spending more on dates than they can really afford. Since men prefer young, fertile females, women tend to do everything possible to enhance their youthfulness and personal appearance. Clothing is an important aspect of courtship for both sexes. Women dress to show off their bodies to best advantage, and men dress to display status and power. Close quote. Mary Batten, Sexual Strategies, How Females Choose Their Mates. Men respond to sexual power of women who enhance their sensuality with makeup and treat women who don't wear makeup more like equals. Since most women are accustomed to viewing their interactions with men through the lens of sexual power, equality seems demeaning. Therefore, as most women prefer the status of sexual aristocrat, most embellish their sexual power with makeup. Thus, it's not male dominance makeup symbolizes. 2015, Olympia, Washington. I know a lot of guys expect women to paint their faces. Personally, I think it's goofy, but to each his own. Ironically, decades after feminists blamed makeup on men, not only are women spending more money than ever on makeup, but younger Gen Xers and older millennials are going one step further to speckle their skin with tattoos. In 1993, when I made my first public appearances to warn that the backlash Susan Faludi claimed had already arrived was a lie, and that the real backlash was yet to come, feminists responded almost violently. Had I told them that the result of 50 years of feminist rhetoric and scholarship would culminate in 2015 with young women obsessing more than ever over makeup, tattoos, victimization, rape culture, slut walks, a large red head spewing profanity, and a dim-witted twit appearing before the United Nations to cynically claim that everything is sexist, everything is racist, and everything is homophobic, I have no doubt that they would have had me lynched. Historians will marvel at the absurdities of our age, the worst being how much nonsense is tolerated by those who ought to know better. Even though the odds seem stacked against it, this milieu will end. Martin Armstrong, who I frequently mention in this channel, is an expert on global cycles, and according to Armstrong, these cycles are unstoppable. Governments try to prevent the business cycle, but it happens anyway. During the past 30 years, the Federal Reserve, starting with Alan Greenspan, has created one economic bubble after another to try to create an economy that only expands and never contracts. Now we're in an economic depression, though the federal government has yet to admit it. There are other bubbles, too. Feminism, for example, is a bubble. In my Cycles of Sexism video linked below, in literary terms, I explained the cyclic nature of what we know today is the expansion and contraction of hypergamy and dominance. Feminism is a hypergamy bubble, and it's probably the biggest hypergamy bubble in human history. And like every other bubble, it too will end. Several MGTOW, PUAs, MRAs, and anti-feminists have speculated how it will end. I have too. The truth is, none of us know. But what we can know with certainty is that it will end. There's a great article on Return of Kings by David Garrett about women and makeup, linked below, in which he documents how women still use makeup to lie about their looks. Check it out. That's all for now. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mechelen.